Hi, I'm Jane Farnham from Great British Talent, and welcome to our series of video podcasts where you get to meet our talented speakers who are all available, of course, for your corporate events. So it's an opportunity really for you to find out more about our speakers, what they talk about, and how they can help you to add value to your business. Today, I'm chatting with Matt Swain. Welcome, Matt.
Hello, great to be here.
Lovely to chat to you. You've got such a smiley face. So we've got entrepreneur, author, speaker. I've had a little look through your biog, and there were so many topics covering things like branding, comms, AI, marketing. So I suppose it makes sense to start at the very beginning. So you're still fairly young. So how did you end up where you are now in the business world?
Yeah, I mean, at 18, I was set on becoming partner at the Big Four. And so I actually joined KPMG at 18 on their sponsored degree program. And I spent 5 years in finance, doing an office job, in the finance sector. And it was great there. By the time I left, I was leading a team of 7 people. I was working on kind of FTSE 250 projects. But there was this like creative spark within me that felt very trapped there. And I knew that I had to go and explore this brand and marketing world, basically, which is what I obviously do now. And now that I'm in the marketing world, whenever anybody meets me, they always say I'm so creative, full of ideas. And so I think that now that I've transitioned out of that more corporate finance world, I've been able to explore that kind of creativity side. And so that kind of transition from finance into marketing was really from my own personal brand. So I started posting online some of the ideas I was having, books I was reading, thoughts, etc., and just attracted a bunch of really great opportunities that allowed me to kind of pursue that as my full-time career, basically.
So you launched a business around your online activity, and
Yeah,
that
and so
that has resulted in this lovely, almost a corporate entity that you have now.
yeah, so like I was posting online, and then people were coming to me and asking how was I doing it? Could I do the same for them? And so it very like organically kind of turned into the business that we have now. And now there's a team around me as well, and we've been able to kind of expand and scale. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that one post online led to all of this new world that I'm now in.
But that's the best thing about it, isn't it? Is so this has all happened really organically for you. It's not been contrived in any way, and I think the best businesses start out that way.
Yeah, and it's also something that I couldn't have predicted. Like, sure, I knew I wanted to go and be more creative. I wanted to write, etc. But I think that that is also one of the benefits of posting and showing up online and sharing your story. That you never know who's watching, who's reading, who's listening to, what it could turn into. And I think that that like unpredictability, like when I first started, like kind of pushed me to post, and it's what I kind of encourage and why I encourage other people to get involved as well, because you never know what will happen. And obviously now I go on stages and I chat to people about that journey and that story and what posting online and sharing your story can do.
So tell me a little bit about your business right now. Triangle, is it? Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're a kind of personal branding consultancy for lots of high profile individuals. So we have 8-figure AI companies based in San Francisco. We've got leaders at companies like IBM who are our clients. So we run the partners' personal brand there. And then we work with some small, medium-sized businesses in the UK as well, helping them, hire through their brands, scale up, raise investment, generate pipeline, or simply just to get visibility about what they're getting up to.
Okay, so it's almost like an end-to-end solution for a company that wants to make a difference and grow. I mean, I suppose a lot of business stems from trust, and we were talking about authenticity. So, what do you think are the biggest mistakes businesses make when trying to build that trust with their audience and their customers?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen over the last few years this word attention get thrown around, the attention economy and all of this side of things. And I think that for a time that was true, but a lot of brands and people have got to be careful that they don't, in the pursuit of attention and the pursuit of visibility and getting known, that they don't erode that level of trust. And I used to believe that that personal brand building was all about authority and attention, but really at the centerpiece of everything that we do is how do we build trust. And the great thing about doing it through content and marketing is that you can build that trust at scale. It's not one-to-one on a sales call. It's not it through in-person interactions at events. It's how you can build what we try and take that same approach. How would you build trust in the sales process? How would you build trust going to events? And how can you do that at scale and reach thousands and thousands of people in this kind of trusted way? So yeah, it's definitely at the forefront of everything that we do now.
And I suppose each business that you work with, their story is unique, and every campaign that you put together for them would be completely different. I mean, no two brands or companies, I suppose, would have the same message, team, ethos. So I would imagine it was like we were chatting before we came on here. And it was like all the inquiries that I get, no two are the same. That even if they're asking for, an AI speaker, the whole background and the brief and the audience are completely different. So they have a different take upon it. So it must be quite interesting because it must keep you on your toes. But how do you, obviously, campaigns now stem across so many different channels. You've got all the social media, you've got, shows, trade shows, and then you've got emails and marketing. And it's just, how do you cut through all of that noise and make a real impact?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're focused on is putting people at the forefront, whether it's your CEO, whether it's your founder, whether it's your marketing team, or whether it's like a bigger employee kind of campaign. But really, like when we're talking about what builds trust, well, what's built trust over the last, 10,000 years of human life is people,
Yeah.
faces, stories. And so we actually go and connect back to all of those things that that we've been doing as humans for thousands of years, really. And so when you do put people to the forefront and you allow them to connect to a face, into a story, into a real genuine person, you get way better results. You get more interest, more
Mm.
engagement. You get more people resonating. You get deeper, more thoughtful comments and interactions. And then you also get higher conversion rates and more kind of follow through into the DMs as well. So everything that we do is all stemmed around putting people and letting them shine and putting them at the forefront.
Yeah, I remember the first trade show we did. It was just eye-opening. I think we'd spent 4 years behind phone calls and emails, and then we stepped out into our first show, and it was just delightful because people really do buy into people. It's all very well being efficient and having the best website and being engaged online, but nothing beats that face to face. But have you got an example then of a business that transformed its reputation by embracing that authentic sort of personable approach?
Yeah, I mean, Dove did this a while back, actually, in 2002, and they had the Real Beauty campaign, and they had kind of campaigns that were run in print on the tubes and things like that, and they put real um, people at the forefront of their campaigns. And previously, the fashion beauty world were only used to putting models at the forefront, and all very kind of like Photoshop style pictures. And
Yeah.
so this was completely transformative for the industry. And for me, it's where the idea of authenticity actually originated from. And so, yeah, I think that Dove was like a landmark
Can I just
campaign.
apologise for my rather loud cat in the background? It's honestly, it's a snow leopard, but seriously, he is very,
He's
very noisy. Sorry. So you were saying about Dove?
But yeah, so I think that Dove's campaign is great. One of my favorite campaigns from 2024 was the BA Windows campaign, and so that is they have this a variety of different kind of passengers, and it's kind of shots from the outside of the plane. I'm sure we can put something up in the edit, but yeah, shot from the outside, looking in at their face. And previously, all of the airline campaigns have been looking out of the window, looking towards the destination, looking towards
Yeah.
the place you're going. And this kind of flipped the script entirely and put the whole campaign's focus on the face, looking out of the window, excited for where that they were going. There's no logo, there's no beach, completely new way of advertising. But whenever this is included as a slide in my keynotes, and whenever I put it up, there's this instant reaction in the room where they're like, ah, and I think that it's one of those moments where they can like really see and feel the impact of
Mm.
really humanizing your marketing and putting people at the forefront. And so that would be a more recent one.
So we might as well talk about it. AI, can't avoid it, love it or hate it, it's here. How do we work with it and use it to our advantage? Because obviously, you can't really shy away from it completely. It does have its uses and its utilizations in business, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that there's this more macro conversation to be had around the fact that with AI, where you're not sure what's real and what's not, again, in my slides, I have a picture of the Pope with a Balenciaga jacket. And it went viral a few years ago, but it was made through Midjourney. And it was one of these first images that went viral where everybody, was like, wasn't sure what's happening. And as the Pope got out and bought this massive kind of puffer jacket. But we're not sure what's real and what's not anymore. And we're really skeptical of like influencers posting products that they may not actually use, or whether they are bots posting comments and reviews, or even imagery. Like, is it real product imagery, or is it actually fake? Am I actually going to get the product that I see in the images? And so I think that in this AI world that we now live in, trust becomes more and more important to build. And I think that brands that put trust at the forefront will succeed over the next few years. But at the same time, as we understand trust is more important to build, it is becoming harder to build as well, because the temptation is to go after attention and try and cut through with something kind of edgy. But as a result, you may jeopardize that trust that you have in the market. So I think that in the AI world, trust is even more of an important conversation to be having, and asking, like, are we putting trust at the forefront, or are we actually jeopardizing like that long-term brand trust
Mm.
that most brands and most marketing teams should have the objective of building?
So when I think of marketing, I generally think of B2C. But obviously, B2B marketing is immensely important to a lot of businesses. Are the buying patterns shifting there too, to more of a trust authenticity style?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of changes happening from a lot of people looking and researching content before they start engaging with sales teams. So I think that previously B2B organizations have been able to build a huge sales team. And as a result of that, they're doing mass outreach and mass cold calls to try and reach their prospects, where they are. But now that the prospects are researching themselves, they're looking at content online, they're building touch points with certain people and companies before they make that decision to buy. And so if you're a B2B company just reliant on sales, you're going to miss and not publishing, producing, you're not an authority in your industry, that you're going to miss out on all of that traffic that's now researching, looking at content, engaging with different suppliers before they actually make a decision. So we're seeing that in the B2B world, sales is moving more towards marketing, and that more work needs to be done in building that trust through your marketing, and not just waiting to build that trust, that authority, that insight in the sales process, where I think that a few years ago you would be fine to have a purely silent sales team online and to still be successful. Whereas now I think that that's really changing, in that if you're not participating in and actively marketing yourself, that you are losing a lot of opportunities.
And what's the most important lesson or valuable lesson that you've learned about personal branding during your career?
It's a tough one. I would say it's about, I think, like, the number one thing when prospects come to us and clients start with us is that they actually don't know what they want to be known for. And they'll come in and they'll want to be viral, and they'll want to share their story, and they want to obviously get sales and opportunities through their brand as well. But they don't actually define like what it is that they are an expert in, what they want to be known for,
Mm,
and specifically what's unique about their company that they want to share with the world. And so I think that there's an element of defining clearly which box you want to sit in
mm.
early on, so that everything that you do from a content and sales perspective actually builds that box and makes it stronger and tighter and more exciting, as opposed to like spreading yourself too thin, trying to go out too far, get lots of quick clicks and go viral. But you know, I have this thing where I say posting content and building a brand is very different. You know, you can easily post content, you know, get a bunch of views, but it doesn't really build your brand. You know, a brand is where there is a consistent visual identity, that there's, you know, certain words and phrases that you're used to, that, you know, you're associated with being the expert in this particular thing. And so it's really about building brand and not just posting content.
So you're on the speaking circuit. What do you love most about speaking?
Yeah, so I've had a big like online audience for a while, and
Yeah.
was very used to kind of writing my thoughts, hitting post, and then getting the response through likes and comments, and you know, maybe some conversations that came from it. But when you're in person, you're able to share those thoughts and get the reaction, but that reaction is instantaneous, and you're able to like bounce off the
Mm.
audience. And so, you know, I think that I was in a way training for it a while online, and making the jump and doing it in person has been, yeah, incredibly rewarding, because you know, like, it's obvious, but you know, the real comments and the real reactions are a thousand times better and more, you know, interesting than, you know, the reactions and comments online, right? And so, you know, I think that there's also this element of really tapping into what people are experiencing like day to day, and like what is their specific struggle, and how I can incorporate that, you know, that kind of discussion that the marketing team is having internally, that you know, kind of concern that the CMO has, and all of these like really live, changing, evolving problems that marketing teams are facing, and how I can then incorporate that into what I'm talking about, and making sure that it's as relevant as possible.
Yeah, and you know what? The speaking industry has changed massively, over the years. I mean, just what you were saying there, it sounds like you're quite happy to work with a business rather than just rock on up and deliver the same talk to 10 different companies. It's very much, bespoke to the particular business that you're speaking to, and, asking what their issues are and what problems they're facing and how they want to grow. And then you can adapt your talk to help them add value moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Because you know, I think that it's really got to connect to, you know, the people that you're speaking to, and I think that, you know, because I've created a lot of content online, you're very used to like building in those data points of like what works, what doesn't. Like when I say it like this, it resonates, and so that's the same approach that I take with speaking as well, where I'm like really trying to, you know, listen and take feedback from the audience's reactions. This resonated the most, this didn't, you know, then taking my online content that's done well and making sure that I take some of those ideas and incorporate those into my keynotes as well. So I think that, you know, I think that that's a way that the online and the in person kind of do connect up as well, and that experience becomes relevant.
Well, Matt, it's been really lovely chatting to you. I've learned an awful lot, and yeah, I know that you're going to go on and do so much more. And it's great that you're with us, and we can, get you in front of our clients and help them grow authentically. So thank you very much for your time today.
I'm looking forward to getting involved for sure.
Yeah, can't wait. Now, if you'd like Matt to come and inspire, motivate, and educate your team to build trust with your audience and to grow authentically, then do call 01753 439 289, or you can email me, Jane at greatbritishtalent.com. Thanks for watching.